Tonight on CFTK-TV, the Thornhill Fire Department releases their schedules for the Parade of Lights. The federal government's loan program suffered from contracting problems, and what Canadians were up to for Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Northwest BC's only television news team. We are CFTK-TV News.
Hello, I'm Damian Smith, and thank you for joining us here on CFTK-TV. Well, the season for Christmas cheer has now officially arrived, and the Thornhill Fire Department is gearing up to take to the streets with one of the season's most anticipated events. And here's Jaylene Matthews of CFTK-TV.
One thing we can look forward to in the darkest, coldest days of winter are the bright lights of the Thornhill Fire Department's parade.
It's where we decorate all of the apparatus, as seen behind us, with Christmas lights, and we tour the community in the fire protection area, which is very large. So we go all the way east out to past Usk and all the way west to Kitsim-Kalem, and then again south to Lake Else Lake.
The 4-day event starts on December 14th and runs through to the 17th. Between 6 and 9, the trucks will be rolling out along the designated routes.
We do collect food we'll collect it in a chase vehicle at the street level. We'll also accept food donations here at the fire hall should we miss you at your home. And donations will be available in a form of e-transfers that'll be announced on our website to provide the proper email address.
Chief Boehm says to make sure you're watching the parade far enough back from the road and in a safe location.
Yeah, the best source of information and live updates will be on the Thornhill Fire Department Community Connection Facebook page.
For CFTK TV News, I'm Jaylene Matthews.
And in a release that was sent out by School District 54 in the Bulkley Valley, it was revealed that more than a few of the area's bus routes were closed down the entirety of today. And the main reason that was given for the shutdown of the buses was because of the recent freezing rain that created compact snow as well as slippery sections on the roads. And the routes closed down included 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 10, 14, 18, 23, 25, 26, and lastly 27. It was also said that some of those buses were shut down yesterday morning as well. Well, a mission is underway in Manitoba to find the remains of Mercedes Myron and Morgan Harris, who are the two women murdered a couple of years ago by a man, Jeremy Skibitsky. And searchers are now looking in landfills to see if they can find any sign of their whereabouts. Kathy Lee from CTV News has more.
Usually a place of discarded items, this landfill now holds the hopes of many. A desperate quest is underway.
It's a humanitarian mission to bring home the remains of Mercedes Myron and Morgan Harris.
Their remains believed to be here. Nearly 2 years after the women were murdered, a team of 45 search in earnest.
Family and community members, students with relevant experience to seasoned and skilled anthropologists and archaeologists.
Using rakes and their hands, they sift through mountains of waste in this facility.
We are talking about human beings here who deserve dignity and respect, even in death.
Jeremy Skibitsky was sentenced to life for the first-degree murders of Myron, Harris, Rebecca Contois, and an unidentified woman known as Buffalo Woman. Only Contois' remains have been found. The deaths of these Indigenous women, a grim reminder of the many others murdered and whose remains have not been located, including Joey English, killed in 2016. Her remains believed to be in a Calgary landfill, but were never found.
There's a different level of searching based on gender, race, maybe sexual orientation, and that is problematic. It should be a standard procedure nationally so that all of us have a fair opportunity.
For now, the opportunity to find Myron and Harris offers hope for their families and the community that justice and closure are possible.
No matter what lies ahead, we can say that we tried and we made the effort for these families, which is very significant.
Premier Canoe says the province is preparing for the excavation to continue all of next year and potentially into 2026. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
And BC is said to be providing almost $8 million to 7 different First Nations in remote areas to shift from diesel to renewable energy sources. And newly minted Energy Minister Adrian Dix stated that the projects include a hydroelectric facility at the Gitgit First Nation on BC's north coast and the Olgacho First Nation in the central interior, meanwhile receiving $1 million to support the creation of a 3.8 megawatt solar farm. A number of other Indigenous communities, including the Dease River and Haitsuk First Nations, will also be getting funds to be used on projects that range from things like hydrogen production to biomass heating. Well, a program called Backpack Buddies down south is now exceeding capacity as they look to take care of thousands of kids down in Victoria. Here's Brendan Strain of CTV.
I've had emails coming in all morning with new requests.
Laura Lozier is with Backpack Buddies on the South Island. That organization provides food for children, covering what it calls the weekend hunger gap. For those kids that rely on school meal programs throughout the week to get by.
We just put a whole bundle together and we deliver them to the schools. They go in their backpacks on Friday afternoons so that they're at home without any extra transportation or pickup required.
Backpack Buddies South Island is in 73 schools, feeding more than 1,200 children per week, 2,000 on Vancouver Island. The need continues to grow, and now the organization is at capacity. It currently has more than 1,000 kids on its wait list. 500 of those are in Greater Victoria. Now the organization is struggling to meet its current commitment due to the ongoing Canada Post strike.
Lots of people, especially during the holiday season, would typically mail their donations into Backpack Buddies to help fuel the program.
The organization is encouraging donors to make those donations through its website, but for many older donors, that isn't an option.
We have over 2,000 children in our province on our wait list right now, to the point where we've actually closed our wait list down to new applicants because we just simply feel like we're giving false hope to people.
Emily Ann King is the executive director of Backpack Buddies. She says what they are seeing is a food insecurity crisis in this province.
I've been doing this for 12 years and I've had conversations with children. One, for example, who told me before Backpack Buddies, all she had all weekend was water.
Over half of those on the provincial wait list are on Vancouver Island.
The number one thing is to donate on our website, backpackbuddies.ca.
It takes just $25 to feed a child for the entire weekend. And with the need only growing and the labor dispute hindering donations, Backpack Buddies needs a little help of its own to make sure no child goes hungry over the weekend. Brendan Strain, CTV News, Central Saanich.
And the province has now confirmed the 4th additional case of the chronic wasting disease here in British Columbia, found in the white-tailed deer in the Kootenay region. And chronic wasting disease is an infectious and fatal disease affecting species in the cervid family, including deer, elk, moose, and caribou. And the first 2 cases in BC were confirmed by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency in January of 2024, and the 3rd was confirmed in November. And these cases included a hunter-harvested mule deer and 2 white-tailed deer, one of which was killed in a road accident and the other was harvested by a hunter. All 3 were collected near Cranbrook as part of BC's ongoing chronic wasting disease surveillance efforts. The latest case was confirmed by the Canadian Food Inspection Agency this past Friday. The sample was collected from a white-tailed deer harvested in October. And this case is another in a cluster of 3 cases found in white-tailed deer near Cranbrook. Coming up next, how a BC firefighter had to fight his own battle in his own home. Welcome back. Well, something you don't see very often is a fire in the home of a firefighter. And that was the case for a Dashwood man who had to figure out a way to deal with an exploding battery. Here's Andy Garland of CTV.
A new lithium battery similar to this, used for an airsoft gun, was unplugged and not charging on a bedroom carpet when
the battery was on fire, exploding. There's absolutely nothing left of the battery.
It's an incident that hits a little too close to home for Dashwood Fire Chief Nick Accavetti.
Experiencing fire in your own home, and especially a home of a firefighter, is not something that you come across every day, and we're so paranoid about fire safety.
Working smoke alarms alerted his partner, who was home at the time, and was able to stop the fire from spreading.
We have like 6 smoke alarms in a 2,300 square foot house, so they were all working, they were all going off, and she could hear them outside.
With Christmas just around the corner, Dashwood Fire Department wants to remind people to keep a watchful eye on your lithium batteries.
Even though they're considered a safe product, I think just watching the charge times on them, watch where you're storing them. These batteries are in everything.
An expert at McGill University recently said the technology around lithium batteries continues to improve and that the volume out there is the issue.
The batteries today are safe, but because everybody now is excited, there is so many manufacturers, and quality control becomes critical.
Akivetti will now be taking extra precautions when storing these unpredictable batteries.
We're going to get a metal ammunition can and start storing our batteries in there.
Andy Garland, CTV News, Dashwood.
And turning to tonight's weather, the special weather statement is still in effect for the North Coast, with the total rainfall looking like it's going to be 125 millimeters, with winds from the southeast going at 70 kilometers per hour and 90 over the coastal sections. And there could be a localized flooding and water pooling and high winds that may cause fallen tree branches. The amount of rain can create flooding in low-lying areas, and the high winds can create power outages as well. These conditions should be all wrapped up by Thursday, and expect the temperature to be 9 degrees tonight. The Terrace and Kitimat region should have periods of rain with wind from the south at 20 kilometers per hour and a temperature of 4 degrees. And the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District is looking at a 30% chance of showers with periods of rain beginning before the morning, and 2 degrees will be the case. Now onto your weekly weather forecast. With the high amount of rain for the next 24 hours on the North Coast, don't expect it to go away anytime soon. We'll see a high of 10 degrees tomorrow with some light showers, followed by a drop-off as we head into the weekend, and the low will be 2 degrees on Sunday night. The Terrace and Kitimat region sees a high of 6 degrees on Friday, but we'll also have a drop-off as next week is expected to get some flurries or a little bit of snow, and the low will also be a -3 on Sunday night. In the Bulkley Valley and Lakes District, we'll have slightly colder temperatures with a chance of flurries this weekend. The high will be 5 degrees in the next 2 days, followed by -8, of course, on Sunday night. And now we take a look at our Northwest roadside report, where we have a number of travel advisories with the harsher weather this week. On Highway 16, there is freezing rain on black ice between Houston and Topley, utility work between Masset and Port Clements on Haida Gwaii, water pooling from Prince Rupert to east of Skeena, fog patches from Skeena to Doreen, and there is a travel advisory from Sheraton to Fort Fraser. There's also utility work in Vanderhoof and slippery sections throughout. Highway 37 has a travel advisory for rain on compact snow from Iskut to Belle 2, fog patches from Terrace to Kitimat, compact snow from Cranberry Junction to Belle 2, bridge maintenance from Miziaden Junction to Belle 2, and slippery sections. Highway 37A has a travel advisory that may close for a high avalanche hazard, and it also has compact snow throughout. Highway 118 has slippery sections throughout. The Nishka Highway has flooding from Ginglocks to Lac Galt Sap, and fog patches throughout, and Telegraph Creek Road has slippery sections. Still to come, the federal government's loan program suffered from contracting problems due to a lack of oversight. Welcome back. Well, with Black Friday and Cyber Monday just wrapping up, this is typically the time where a ton of people may do their shopping for the holidays, but it doesn't seem to be the same old year, with a bit of changes and create a couple of more hurdles for shoppers. Here's Adrian Gobriel of CTV.
For retailers online, it's the most wonderful time of the year.
I shop online too much, probably.
Globally, Salesforce estimates that Cyber Monday purchases this week will climb to $51 billion, up from just over $48 billion last year, though the software company believes that in Canada, the total tally may actually decrease year over year.
If you were to take what they spent in 2023 and you added inflation to it, they're probably going to have tightened their belts somewhat.
Retail experts say multiple facts could contribute to softer Cyber Week sales across the country, including consumer concerns about the ongoing Canada Post strike.
In fact, I'm expecting a package, and I'm bummed that I won't get it in time.
Close to 95% of the population lives within areas that are well served by the couriers of the world, like UPS and FedEx.
If you're in a remote area in Canada, this postal strike could have an impact on you getting your gifts sent to you.
Absolutely.
Some larger retailers have added disclaimers to their websites today as they try and set reasonable expectations for shipping this holiday season, with Canadian Tire writing that a smaller portion of orders destined for very remote P.O. boxes may not be deliverable at all. The labor stoppage is also hurting small businesses who've built their margins around Canada Post's competitive shipping costs.
And now they need to charge more to cover the cost for shipping that they could have otherwise absorbed with Canada Post.
We found one alternative, the holiday rush of shopping at the mall.
I do not purchase online that much. My children do, but I don't. I do not.
Take it old school.
I love the old school.
And according to Canada's Auditor General, the federal government's pandemic-era loan program targeted towards the small businesses suffered from contracting problems due to a lack of oversight. Mike Lee from CTV has more.
EDC did not properly manage their contracts.
Canada's Auditor General underlined a number of issues with the Canada Emergency Business Account, better known as CEBA. The loan program handed out $49 billion and helped keep 900,000 small businesses afloat. However, it was managed by Crown Corporation Export Development Canada, which then farmed out the work on a single-source contract to global IT firm Accenture. And the AG says that led to a lack of oversight.
And when you have an accountability void, there's people who aren't keeping eyes on the dollars anymore. There is bad management decisions that go unchallenged, and ultimately no spending limit put on a big program.
Hogan also noted there were billions of dollars given to companies that weren't eligible, something the Conservatives blame on the Prime Minister.
His government gave out $3.5 billion of so-called CEBA loans to companies that did not qualify, a total of 77,000 of them.
The Auditor General is concerned by EDC's statement that recouping money would be challenging and come with a significant cost.
EDC first needs to identify if these businesses are really ineligible and then decide whether or not recovery is going to happen. If the government doesn't want to recover, I expect that they're just going to be clear and transparent with Canadians.
Also, as of March of this year, $8.5 billion in loans were outstanding. Some of those are in the process of being paid back, but for the others, the government says there is a process.
The Canada Revenue Agency will jump in only at the end when the businesses are not capable of reimbursing or were not eligible. And we are using the same process as we use for any other tax debt.
And now we take a look at the stock market. The Canadian dollar is down 0.6 of a penny. The price of gold is up $9.40. Oil is up $1.84. Natural gas is down 17 cents. Aluminum is down $6. In Toronto, the TSX is up 45.40 points. The Venture Index is up 7.71. In New York, the Dow Jones is down 76.47 and NASDAQ is up 76.96. Still ahead, what Canadians were really focused on watching in the year of 2024. And as the holiday spending ramps up, more and more scams will be popping up now and then in whatever way, shape, or form. And gift card scams are one of the more common scams around this time, where a victim can be caught at the most surprising times. CTV's Pat Foran has the rest.
My aunt gave me this gift card as a present.
Catherine Achita of Mississauga was given a $250 Visa gift card, but she says when she went to use it to buy a jacket, it was almost empty.
I decided to take a look at the gift card amount, and it said that I had $1.50 left in it, but I had never used it before.
Stranger still, the gift card had transactions on it that were made far from where she lived.
It had said I had made transactions in Hamilton and in Etobicoke, but I hadn't been to either location.
Gift card fraud is a huge problem, and it generally gets worse around the holidays. It's known as the drain scam, and here's how it works. Criminals go to a store, copy the card number and bar activation code, then reseal the package. They may also place fake barcode stickers on the cards. When the card is activated, the money that's added goes to the scammer instead of the card that was purchased. Before you buy any gift card, you have to inspect it carefully.
Run your finger over the card. Does it look like a sticker has been put over the barcode?
Does it look like the package was like opened and then maybe glued back together?
To protect yourself from gift card fraud, examine gift cards before buying them. If it looks tampered with, don't buy it. Buy gift cards that are behind the counter or online and save your receipt in case there's a problem. In Achita's case, she was able to file a dispute with Visa, and they agreed to give her a replacement card. It's supposed to be in the mail, but with the postal strike, she's not sure when she'll get it. As for gift cards, she's concerned about being scammed again.
It really worries me that someone might, spend their hard-earned money, or someone who really needs that $250 or whatever amount they might be getting, they might not get it at all because it will be gone before they even know it.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
And in more local news, as a way to get local residents ready to celebrate their 2024 Winterfest event, the Prince Rupert Special Events Society has organized a variety of different activities that spanned throughout much of December. And some of the more notable things where people can participate include the Festival of Lights that will be located at the Prince Rupert's Courthouse's lawn on December 7th, free skate open to everyone at the Jim Ciccone Civic Center on December 8th, as well as a tree decorating competition for young school-aged children at the Rupert Square Mall on December 6th. And the entire Winterfest itself will be held over a 2-day span on both December 7th and the 8th. And we have one more month to go in the year of 2024, and this is the time where stats and demographics tend to come out. And look no further than YouTube, where we get a glimpse of what Canadians were doing in the music and the entertainment world. Garrett Berry from CTV has the rest.
The definitive diss track, Not Like Us, came in at number 4 on YouTube's top songs streamed in Canada. Kendrick Lamar's iconic call-out of Drake capped off the biggest beef of the year, and one of the biggest winners, Canadian YouTuber Matt Smith.
There's no doubt that the beef itself, just totally catapulted my channel into a whole other stratosphere I couldn't have expected.
His YouTube channel called What's the Dirt features in-depth breakdowns of Drake's and Kendrick's lines. It caught the attention of some of hip-hop's biggest influencers and commentators, and now Smith, his girlfriend, and his brother are all working full-time on the YouTube page.
Everything I do is posted on Twitter and Reddit, and it got to the point where a lot of people I looked up to in the business, whether it be rappers, whoever, were reaching out to me personally, or big producers in the game.
Other top YouTube searches this year for pop sensation Sabrina Carpenter and information on the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. But just like Matt Smith, YouTubers aren't just searching, they're creating too, especially in the younger generations. A May survey spearheaded by Google showed that 65% of Gen Zers consider themselves to be content creators.
We saw a lot of fun creator content of people, my submission to try my hand at joining the Canadian diving team and fun content like that.
And 8% of Gen Zers in that survey said they wanted to make content professionally for pay, making it one of the most attractive professions around.
I think what appeals to people is just the freedom of it, right? They feel like, and you're right, any kid I talk to, bro, every single kid, they all want to do YouTube.
It's a tough task, but Smith has made it so far. His advice, if you're going to try it, treat it professionally, with a plan and a good work ethic. Garrett Berry, CTV News.
That will be all for tonight's cast. Thank you very much for tuning in, and good night.